In today's halacha, we're going to continue with the law discussing brachas on foods that contain two different types of brachas that are eaten together, which continues the discussion of the taco dish that we discussed yesterday. So this question of having two different brachas eaten together, which bracha should one make, is also relevant towards when you're eating ice cream in an ice cream cone. The ice cream is shahakol, while the cone is mezainis. Does one say one bracha of mezainis? Does one say only a bracha of shahakol? Does one say two brachas? So ideally, when eating ice cream in an ice cream cone, one is required to recite two brachas. One on the ice cream cone of mezainis, and one of shahakol on the ice cream. The reason for this is because mezainis in a mixture is always the ikar. Whenever there's a mixture of two different brachas, mezainis is always considered the main food in that mixture. And thereby you would just say mezainis and exempt the other food. However, in this case, since you have an abundant amount of ice cream, the ice cream is not considered batul, nullified, to the cone, especially being that the main purpose of the cone is the ice cream. And therefore one would also have to make a bracha of shahakol. However, even in such a case, there would be times that you don't even say the bracha mezainis on the cone. Meaning as follows. When do we say you have to say both a bracha of mezainis on the cone and a shahakol on the ice cream? That's in a case that one intention in eating the ice cream is also on the cone. He intends also on the taste of the cone. He intends maybe on the satiation received from the cone, the calories. If, however, an entire purpose of taking this cone is simply to use it as a holder for the ice cream, and he doesn't intend on eating the cone at all, then this would fall under the ruling brought in chapter 168, Halacha 9, that if you have a mezainis that's being used as a support of a food, and that is its only and sole purpose, then no bracha is said on the mezainis product, and a bracha is only made on the main product that it is supporting. And the same would apply here, that if one has a plain cone and has no intent on the taste, and simply told the ice cream, then you would only make a bracha on the ice cream of shahakol and exempt the cone with it. Cereal and milk. Which bracha is recited when we eat cereal with milk? So, when eating cereal with milk, the cereal is obviously the main product of the food and not the milk, and therefore bracha would only be made on the cereal, not on the milk, as the milk is batul to the cereal. Nevertheless, if one adds a lot of milk into the cereal, and there's only a little bit of cereal in the milk, then it ends up that his main intent is also on the milk and not on the cereal. In such a case, you would recite a bracha on the milk, and if the milk contains mezainis cereal, then you would recite mezainis also on the cereal. In a case that one eats a normal amount of cereal and milk, in which the main intent is on the cereal, and now there is leftover milk on the bottom, the question is asked, should one recite a blessing on this leftover milk if he chooses to drink it plain? Because originally he only said a bracha on the mezainis and not on the shahakol of the milk. So, based on the ruling of the Alter Rebbe in chapter 168, Halacha 9, and the Mishnah Berurah 168, Halacha 46, even the milk leftover that remains after eating the cereal is exempt within the bracha of mezainis originally stated, and therefore one does not recite a bracha of shahakol when drinking the small amount of milk that is left over at the end. Regarding cheesecake, so cheesecake is a little different than the previous two cases of cereal and milk and ice cream in a cone, as the cheese is baked together with the mezainis. And it's ruled in Shulchanaruchharav in chapter 168, Halacha 9, and brought in other peskim, that when two foods are baked together with mezainis, then it receives the status of mezainis. And for this reason, when you bake a cheesecake and it has a mezainis crust, one would only say a bracha of mezainis and not on shahakol at all. And since they are baked together, it's considered one food of mezainis. Nevertheless, there are poskim that write that if the crust is extremely thin and is barely felt within the food, then one should only say a bracha over the cheese and not over the mezainis crust.